from Ramachandra. Many people and committed nuisance almost with him. He pardoned. Because there was no other. No other. So in Indian culture, if you go to the other countries, they immediately, and they, another sentence he told me, you were in USA for 2.5 months. I said, yes. Now you are under our watch. 2.5 months, a very insignificant man was USA, but I was under their watch. How I behave, they have studied. And they have come to the conclusion, this person is not a thief. In India, we are not becoming thief is culture. No. You should not have a feeling, idea, will for thief, to about being a thief. Theft is absolutely absent from your character. That is chastness. In Indian culture, always demands that everybody must be chaste. In other words, Satya Vrata, Dhruta Satya. I am what I am. When Ravana went to Ram's cottage, he could have gone as Ravana himself, as the Lanka Pati, and would freely challenge Rama. It is our culture that who is powerful, he gains over everything. Till now also our culture is the same. If anybody becomes powerful, he gains over everything, even law. The law also bends down power. Though, let all moralists of the world unite, it is before us, but behind us and within us is no unity will work unless power comes to it. And why power is now ruling the whole world, and then also it was ruling power, Shakti. So if Ravana would have said, Rama, this is our culture, you come up, let us fight, and let us see, decide our issue. No, he didn't do it. He appeared a tapasvi. We appear as a gentleman, but are we not thieves within? There are instances. The best persons from India have committed a theft, not knowing that they are watched from above by their own Indian American way. I am going to do elaboration. Somebody took away a watch. It's a true case. And he came to the manager of the mall, and the mall looked at him. The watch is in your pocket. Please report your ambassador to stand for you, otherwise you are straight sending you to jail. And he is a dignitary. What was the contrast? In civilization he is a dignitary, but in culture, very low, very low. You would have asked him, I have no money, I want a watch like this. They would have given you a gift. Why didn't you be frank? So frankness is a fundamental cultural behavior. And we think not to be frank is a sign of intelligence. No, not to be frank is a sign of stupidity. So these are very strange values in Indian culture. And in Indian culture, our entire Puranas, there are 18 Puranas, 18 Upapuranas, and there are also so many Puranas behind. And some of them are so thick like Mahabharata. And these Puranas, or epics, are great sources of records of Indian culture. Vyasadeva, the author of Mahabharata, writes in the end, do not behave to anybody as you do not want to be behaved. This is fundamental law in all Mahabharata. As Sita said, think Ravana, in Ramayana said, think Ravana, Your Excellency Ravana, as you have behaved with Ramachandra, if Ramachandra would have behaved like that with you, how do you feel? This is a great problem. The problem is not that easy. So, Mahabharata, the greatest epic of India, the name of this country is Bharata, and the name of the epic is Bharata. And that Mahabharata, at the end, he says, Vyasadeva, that behave with others as you want to be done. You do to others as you want to be done by. But deeper than that, of course this is also a statement from foreign sources, but deeper than that, not in your thought, not in your deed, and not in your intention. You must be free from these nasty, deculturized effects of mind. So all our epics are the sources of what our culture is, and nowadays scant attention is given to epics, either in study or in storytelling. Those who have come to grandfather level like myself, if I tell my grandchildren to learn about Ramayana, father and mother say, why wasting time? I was a teacher throughout my life, and even then you are giving me a good certificate that once I was a good teacher. But my children do not give me a good certificate as a teacher. He says, that time is gone, wo time chalega gaya. What was the time? I was inspired with Puranas. But our children, especially grandchildren, they have not heard what is contained in those Puranas. Now what can you do? Neither you can do anything, nor Renaissance Universal can help us, nor myself coming forward or running backward. We cannot do anything now. This is the condition of humanity. That's why no man is trusting the other. No. Everybody has a suspicion. I once asked in my class, suppose you find a stranger on the road by your side of the room. How do you behave? He is my friend. He is my enemy. His character is subject to doubt. What is your reaction? Everybody told him in class, if he is a foreigner, he must be our enemy. Why? Because those who foreigners came to India, they conquered it. Not by military power, not by wisdom, simply by cheating, they have conquered it. So how can Indian believe on foreigners? Because in Mahabharata it has been said that there is no foreigner. So we are passing through present is a cultural crisis. The crisis is not through books. The cultural crisis is through our own personal history. You cannot believe anybody. You cannot believe your own son or own daughter, or your father also cannot believe you. Why? Because such instances are many when we have lost everything by believing. Trust is a word which is almost identical with the word dharma. Trust, first is trust, and that is the dharma, and that has been neglected thoroughly by our generation. And generation to generation, we are neglecting more and more. In American dollars, we find they have written, we trust in God. I was lecturing somewhere in America, and I pointed out that you have trust in God that you write over the dollar. And what do we write on our rupees? Rupees में क्या लिखा है? सत्यमेव जयते. Truth will only triumph. And Gandhi said, truth is God and God is truth. But still doubtful, like professors, Dr. Mahanti, whether truth is God or God is truth. It still goes on debate issue. Then what you write on your dollar, that also we write in our rupiah. And both are the same thing. Ultimately, truth will triumph. Satyameva jayate. And this is a statement from the Mahabharata. Vyasadeva has said, Namrutam, falsity will never win. But we have seen falsity every day winning. If you can talk very nicely false things, people will admire you. Say, he should be our leader. But remember, again, episode of Ravana, how great you are a master of many arts, how small are you as a man. It's not what you have, what you are. You have a vast intelligence. Good. That is, you are civilized, but not culture. Then we have to decide what Indian culture or culture means for us. As he said also in his talk, believing and living, they are the same thing. If somebody lives different from his belief, or he believes something different from his life living, then he is not cultured. He may be civilized. I have hundreds of cases like that. One day a poet brought a poem in a high-grade society. The poem was so nicely written that tears came to my eyes. That take a animal for killing, what are the feelings of that animal? It's so nicely written. Anybody reads it will have tears in his eyes. What does that animal feel when you take him to be killed? Then some gentleman pointed out to me, sir, don't be swayed by this book of poetry. Why? Because this gentleman doesn't take anything unless place is present in his dishes. Every day, mutton is necessary. Eggs are necessary. Every meal. So this poetry is like this, man is like that. Don't you distinguish between civilization and culture? Are you woke up? I said, can it be so? I said, yes. Living and believing may be totally opposite poles. And India has suffered most due to this distrust of human character. Read your history carefully. What has happened? Whole India has always lost its case due to this trust crisis. But is India alive today or not? How many empires have vanished? Still India is sending religious missionary to the whole world. How it has lived? Many countries have vanished, those who believed and distrust. But India stands today solid. Because with all the loss, with all the defeat, with all the degradation, they have had trust. This constitutes Indian culture in many more forms. But it is not exclusively Indian. It is a human culture of which a portion in India has been well cultivated. The culture was well cultivated in this land. One central concept of Indian culture is also yajna, sacrifice. Sacrifice. I think you say, let me sacrifice, other countries people will say you are stupid. Why shall you sacrifice? And what is the nature of sacrifice? Suppose the fire is burning. You take a morsel of rice, throw it on the fire. Can you get it back? If you put your hand inside that Yajna-kunda, can you get it back? No. Then why do you put in the fire? This is a great problem. When you make a sacrifice, there is no consideration about yourself. If you make a little consideration, then it is not a sacrifice. It is a compromise. You want to give somebody 100 rupees, you get. Even your family people will say, you are a spendthrift. If 10 rupees could have been there, why did you give 100 rupees? The only defense for you is yajna. I just gave it. These are good human cultural values, human, but well cultivated in the land called India. It's not that Indian, that it is in India and nowhere else. No. That's any human being, worthy of being called human being, must have these values in one proportion or other in every country. But in India, it was well cultivated. And Ramayana, Mahabharata are the two great epics which are called in India history, Itihasa. They are not Purana. Ramayana, Mahabharata are not Puranas. These are called Itihasa. Why Itihasa? Not the facts, but the values taught in these texts is the vital value of a high-grade culture. And somehow Indian mind has given it great honor. Think of Maharaja Harishchandra. Think of any great person in India. You shall find that real basis is not on the fact, but on the values which are maintained through that fact. So, India is twice blessed for this, its own geographical boundary, and also its tradition, and also the ground for three great cultures of the world, to be the place for the birthplace of the three great cultures, the three great religions of the world. And the other two, when they enter through Indian gate, they forget that they themselves are not foreigners. You can look your general idea of religion in Odisha. They don't distinguish whether this religion or that religion, unless it is provoked by political motive. A bad motive in amongst us is political motive. What is that political motive? Divide and rule. If you say there is no other, politics dies a natural death. Once you admit there is another, then divide and let us tolerate the other. That is Indian culture. We are least perturbed. We are interested in our own job. Somebody is interested in his own job. Why shall we interfere? Now this is the extreme form of trust. Dr. Mahathir doesn't see eye to eye to a position. So, it is good that we have got a chance to think about the Indian culture. It must not be Indian civilization. India has a great civilization, it has now. But culture is different. When Rama wanted to leave for Ayodhya, this wonderful thing happened. Rama said to Lakshman, dear brother, our work is over. Let us return back to my motherland. Na rochate, this Swarnamai Lanka, na rochate. This Lanka doesn't enter into my taste at all. Let all the gold there. Let us return to our motherland. Why? Janani Janma Bhumischa Swargadavi Gariyasi. Mother and motherland, it is higher in value than all the values the heaven can offer to us. Na rochate. Swarnamai Lanka na rochate. And also in one of the letters, Rama said to Ravana, I have not come to conquer your land. I have not come in love of gold. I have entered your kingdom, not that I want to defeat you. It is not easy to defeat you. But only thing is, you have taken away my life. This Ravana could not understand. How can a wife be life? Ravana said, what have I taken away? My life. So wherever the life goes, the body will go. Please return the life, body will return. We have no other interest. Ravana could not understand. How can a wife be life? Is this spelling wrong somewhere? Wife, life. Ravana couldn't understand. And thought perhaps this Rama is over sentimental, or the fellow does not know the realities of life. Because Ravana married many wives, but never in his life he uttered that wife is life. And when Rama wrote in that letter, I have no grudge against you. Whatever you have done, you cannot retrace it back. But you return our life, our army will return. If you do not return my life, which you call wife, my forces will reach any direction and any limit that are possible in those days. Did Rama carry away gold from Lanka? He took Sita and went off. Of course, Vibhishan presented a huge basket of the rarest jewels, because for him he became the emperor. So he presented. And what did Rama say? Vibhishan, I am very happy. Come with these things to Lanka. So he invited Vibhishan to Lanka as a friend. So what is a gift? How to accept it? Don't grab the gift. Gift will come to you. So these are very subtle elements of life of a great man. And the great man that was born to us, one is Rama and the other is Krishna. And their life is depicted in Ramayana and Mahabharata. And all other epics are nothing but commentaries over the sutras which has been given in Ramayana and Mahabharata. But our scholars speak so low about these Puranas and our tradition that we are ashamed. How could they say so? How could they? They read it from Westerners, talk as if it is a very intelligent thing, but if they will think what it is, they themselves feel that what an uncultured thing, perhaps highly civilized thing, they are accepting as a normal culture. In India, we consider our sons and daughters as our own Atmaja, not Tanuja or Dehaja. Son and daughter are not Tanuja, Tanu means body, Dehaja. No, they are Atmaja. Why? Why sons and daughters are Atmaja? In which country have they accepted sons and daughters are Atmaja? No. But in India, it is called Atmaja because it is not a body that begets a body. Even Atma, the spark of the Atma, enters into the body and appears as the sun. How nicely in the Vedas it has been said. Anga Danga Sambhavasi. Oh my son or my daughter, you have come, every particle of my body is particle of your body. Angat. Every particle of my body is the particle of your body. Anga Dangat Sambhavasi Hrudase Adhijayase. The first in my heart I conceived you. You can understand what does it mean. Unless heart somewhere melts, you can come down. So heart, what is the first seat of your birth? Heart. Hrudasi adhijayase atmavei putra namani. What I call putra, is there from the body or bodily desire? that you have come. It was the desire of the Atma. So Atma is the very station where the child is first born. Father's heart. Father's heart is the right place where the child is first born. How subtle and how crisp is this cryptic statement. Atma ve putra namani. There are cases where there is no inkling in the heart of the father. They are currently shy. But what do you understand? Do you understand? Physical body is the cause of a physical son. Atma ve putra namani jivatu sarada satam. 100 atoms you enjoy. Because when you enjoy 100 atoms, I myself enjoying 100 atoms. That is the secret. So as I told you, wife is life. Similarly, son is your own Atma. Daughter is your own Atma. And he who